for Spiritual Living Asheville and Class 2 of the Law of Attraction and Creation. Tonight begins a three-part series. Tonight is money and the law of creation, the law of attraction and creation. Next week is health and the law of attraction and creation. And the week after that is love and the law of attraction and creation. So we're going to have a three-part series that starts tonight just so we can make sure we touch all of the bases on this whole idea that we are both attracting and manifesting our lives as we go. So we always begin everything at the Center for Spiritual Living with a spiritual mind treatment. I invite you to close your eyes if you want to. God doesn't care. You can uncross your arms. That's just for your blood flow. You can squish around on your chair and get comfy. That's just for your body. The important work is always within, and within is the point of creation. And so we know that whatever this divine presence of attraction and creation, of manifestation of life is, it is all that there is. There is only one. It's a presence and a power that each one of us are manifested out of. We are the waves in the ocean. We are the ray in the sunlight. We are that point of life in form as us. And so we take a moment and get that we are magnificent, powerful, creative, spiritual beings alive and well on planet Earth because we are made out of the magnificence of spirit itself. We are creative because we are made out of the creative force of all life. We are amazing. And we open to it and we claim it. And we live that divine life that is ours to live. And this night, we open up to the idea of lots and lots and lots of money in our lives, filling up our checkbooks, filled full to overflowing, filling up our pockets, filled full to overflowing, filling up our portfolios and our accounts and our investments, lots and lots and lots of money. That is the rich life. That is the divine life. That is the God life that we are meant to live. Not a life of lack, but a life of abundance, a life of overflow, a life of expansion. And so I claim that for each and every one of us this night. I know it to be true. And my knowing affects all of us. My knowing at that point of creation opens up the doorways for that manifestation to happen in all of our lives because we are one. So with great gratitude for being able to live the rich life, for great gratitude for all of the blessings of this life, I turn this treatment loose and let it go. I fling it out into the universe, knowing that the only thing that can happen is that it shows up in physical form as our lives now. As together we say, and so it is. Yay! Come in, all of you people who showed up. Wow! I manifested you into form. If you have an empty seat next to you, please raise your hand. If you have an empty seat next to you, raise your hand. Find the raised hands and seats. There you go. Come on in. Come on up. Wonderful. Come on up, Sylvia. Wonderful. Welcome to class 2. Welcome to class 2. How many people were not here last week? Boy, are you in for a treat. We had wonderful experiences last week, and we learned how to make magic happen in our lives. We learned how to have 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild. And so I want to start this class off by asking you, how was that? 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild each and every day. How was it? Who had something happen? Margaret.
15 minutes wasn't long enough.
15 minutes wasn't long enough. She had just a life of appreciation gone wild. Wonderful, wonderful. Who else? David.
Well, I had the experience of having wonderful appreciation times, but what it did for me was created a much clearer definition, I guess, between the things I appreciate and the ones I haven't learned to appreciate yet. I can see it much clearer than I used to.
Great, so you can see a big line between that which you appreciate, and notice how he phrased this, that which he has not yet learned to appreciate. Good for you, good for you. Who else? How was it? What is your name?
Leslie.
Leslie. Oh, you're Leslie Ashworth.
Yeah.
Hi.
I noticed that, you know, like, I've been, like, I try to generate that good feeling, you know, and then, like, your block comes up, like, oh, that's kind of hard, you know, or like, you know, you think that way sometimes. I'm
You
sure
do.
don't anymore. Don't do that.
Don't
And
suck
then-
me in
and
there.
then when I started doing this, it was like, it's easy. It, like, the more I appreciated, the easier it was to get that feeling, and you're like, this is easy to do.
So-
You ask for it.
So prior to this, you found it difficult to maintain a positive attitude. And yet when you would do the 15 minutes of appreciation going wild, it was easy. Excellent, excellent. Who else? Kristen and then, Katie. I'm going clear. No.
Here we go.
I noticed that when I did the appreciation in the morning, and then like if something came up that I found myself not appreciating, it was much easier to go to a place of appreciation, even for maybe not the whole situation, but aspects within the specific situation.
So you could find something to appreciate in there because you were revved up
Yeah.
for appreciation. Wonderful, you were primed. Katie. You know your name.
I've been here for you guys. I kept noticing, it was very cool, I kept noticing how I would start with a pin or a blanket or whatever was near me, and then I would end up a God or a unity again, and it just kept coming back to the fullness of it being expressed as that thing that I usually just don't pay attention to in that way. So it was very cool.
Wonderful. So you'd start with a blanket or a pen and it would take you out to everything.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Who else? Michael.
I could really feel it when I was doing it. It was like I saw things differently, felt different too. And it seems like my wife and kids more.
He said he liked his wife and kids more.
When I do that, they make it back.
Yes, because they are just a reflection of your resistance. Or lack thereof. How many people felt good doing this? Wow, this for me was better than drugs. Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, I usually start out my morning feeling really good and appreciating things. But I made a conscious effort to do it this week more so. And if I found during the day that I was falling away from that, I would make a conscious effort to get back into it. And I attracted so many fabulous experiences and people and everything. It was just amazing. It was really fun.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. Not only did you feel great, but how many of you had wonderful things happen? Do you see the connection between your feeling and your experience? This is really important, and one of the amazing statements I came up with last week was that if you want to be master of your fate, you must learn to be master of your state. So that if you want to have great experiences in your life, you've got to learn how to come up with the feeling, the experience of that great experience. Yes?
That, what you said, master of your
State.
state, that came back to me during the week so many times, and I thought, that is a great statement to remember.
It was brilliant. So those of you who were not here, 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild is to pick something. And the point is it doesn't matter what you pick. It doesn't matter if it's a pen or a phone or a water bottle or a chair. It doesn't matter if it's a notebook. It doesn't matter what it is. Pick it and start appreciating it. Start going on a verbal onslaught of how great this thing is. And because it's 15 minutes, did anybody hit a wall in the beginning after about 5 minutes? Oh, now what do I say? Well, that forces you to go beyond the limitations of what you usually think about into a greater level of appreciation, a greater level of gratitude, a greater level of positive feeling. And because you can pick anything, then you always have at your disposal the ability to generate within you this amazing experience, this amazing sense of happiness, this amazing sense of gratitude, this amazing sense of wonder and awe at life. And when we do that every day, we feel really, really good. And I was looking for 2 seats for Shirley and Dave. We feel really, really good, and we set this law of attraction and creation in motion. One of the things that so many people have backwards is that they're going to feel better once they have this thing, this person, this experience, and that never happens. Have you ever known anyone who created something and they were an ornery cuss before they got it, and they still were an ornery cuss once they had it? That's because they didn't change inside of themselves. So what we are learning to do, and honestly it's better than any amount of therapy, it is to change the way we emotionally feel at any given moment, to have command of our emotional experience at any given moment. Michelle, you want to sit up here?
Absolutely.
Any given moment, we can feel good, we can feel happy, we can feel on top of things, we can feel gratitude, we can see the good in something, we can look right through it and see the connections all around it until you end up, like Katie said, at God. We can train ourselves to do that so we no longer hit that wall that says, I can't go anymore, I can't do it anymore, it's just too much for me. No, we've trained ourselves how to bust through that into having the experience that we want to experience. We are master manifestors in our lives and in this world. And when we get a hold of that power and learn how to direct it in the way that we want to have it, we can have anything that we want in our lives. Now, some people say, you people at the Center for Spiritual Living in Asheville, you're all nuts. With your happy day, with your best day ever, with your idea that you can reach out into thin air and grab anything that you want, that all you have to do is become it on the inside, and have it on the outside. You're all crazy. But I want you to know that that is the truth for everyone, not just us. That people get up in the mornings and they say, instead of today is a happy day, they say, today is going to be a terrible day. Oh no, I have meetings, I'm not ready, oh my gosh, I'm late, this is going to be a bad day. And so what they do is they attract into their experience and they create the outpicturing of that bad day. Instead of getting up in the morning and saying, today is the best day ever, they say, today is the worst day ever. This is the worst day of my life. And then they create that. So even when we're looking at maybe, as Mark, you said, maybe your friends are thinking you're a little bit too happy and a little too positive, even when we're having that experience, they're using the same creative power that we are. They're just using it to create a different outcome. And when we can see that, we can realize that we are all completely at choice and that we are at choice every moment of our lives. But I think that in particular, this group of the Center for Spiritual Living Asheville is a unique and marvelous group of people. In our oneness, we have attracted each other. In our vibrational unity, we lift each other up. And when we are together, great things happen. So I want to invite those of you who are not yet members of this center and would like to stand in consciousness and say, I am a part of this great thing. I am a part of this insistence that life prospers, that we heal faster than anybody said we were going to heal, that our lives work, that things fall into place, and that we live a grand and joy-filled life. If you want to unite with that, you're in luck, because we're taking in new members next weekend. And if you want to do that, we have this great membership class on Saturday morning, this coming Saturday from 10 to 1. How many people have taken that membership and spiritual community class? What did you get out of it? It was a blast. It was fun.
Abundant love.
It was abundant love. Yes, Susan.
Belonging.
Belonging.
My life purpose.
Your life purpose. For me, what it does is it teaches us how to get along with each other. Because when you put 7.5 billion of us on the same planet, and some of us are cranky, then we have trouble. Some of those trouble, and people who are cranky are in high levels of position, could end up as wars and boundary challenges and food issues and money issues and all of that. And so we start at this level seeing who we are so that we see who everyone else is and practice seeing each other in that light that says God is all that there is and you are the presence of the divine. I don't care what's going on. And what I found out is that we can take that and move it into our family, move it into our workplace, move it into driving down the road, and we can be that spiritual light that we all really want to be. And I know that sometimes we get up in the morning and go, I am just going to be in the flow today. I'm going to be a being of light and love. And before we know it, we're all... So this gives us some wonderful tools to be able to actually do things in life and to be able to lift the energy of any given situation up, much the same way that 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild gives you the tool to change your state at any given moment. So, because I am Barbara the Blunt, I'm going to ask you, if you're not a member and you'd like to be a member of this center, raise your hand and we'll give you a membership card. And it's wonderful. Welcome, welcome. And the class is this Saturday at 10. Mark B. G. Mark. Right, Jane? You're welcome to come back. Anybody's welcome to come back. Anybody else? Anybody else stand in consciousness with members of the Center for Spiritual Living Asheville? Woohoo! Yes, welcome, welcome. Good, okay, my commercial's over. I think it's important who you hang out with. If you haven't noticed, sometimes when you start on this spiritual path and you start with a group of people and you change and then you go back with that same group of people, sometimes the rapport is not there the way that it was. And that much the same way as when you go to your biological home for the holidays, sometimes you can jump in that energy with other people, go to the mall right before Christmas, and it affects you if you're not really clear. We all want to be the one that lifts everyone else up, but sometimes if we're not really clear, we jump down into the muck and mire with others. So I think it's really important to choose where you're going to be, the energy that you're going to bring into your life, and who you're going to hang out with. And that doesn't mean you can get rid of all your other friends, but maybe you don't, go hang out at the crack house with them like you Carrie.
My 8-year-old and I just became members, and he got a letter from the center just last week, and it was addressed to him, and he's 8 years old, and he was so excited to get a letter. And so he opened it up, and it was a letter from John, and it said that he was going to be in John's spiritual mind treatment or whatever for the week, and he was just so excited that, he was going to be in John's treatment. And he saw John on Sunday, and John picked him up and gave him this big old bear hug, and it meant so much to him because he doesn't have a father in his life, and it's a family, it's a home, a family home to him here. So if I could only just say that it means family to us.
Good.
Yeah, and it's an amazing.
It is, it's a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
It's a come as you are party, because who and what you are is magnificent. So you don't have to worry about whether or not you've got pajamas on, or whether or not you're looking like the ads say you should look. Who you are is wonderful. Who you are is magnificent. Who you are is God in form as you. So this is a place where you can come and really get that sense of being a spiritual being. Thank you, Perry. So tonight we're going to talk about money and the law of attraction and creation. And this brings up the usual question of, what in the world does money have to do with spirituality?
Everything.
Everything. When we go back into this other idea that says there's spirit and money or materialism, talking about is oneness. And so if everything is one, if everything is created out of that creative essence of life itself, the divine and form, the light, the love, the glory, all of it, yay, then that means that money also must be a manifestation of spirit. Money must be a spiritual experience, a spiritual thing. Money, I got money all over just coming at me like crazy. Money must be a manifestation of the divine. But I know that for some of us, we haven't had that all along, and we may have some old ideas that say, oh, no, money not so good, money dirty, money bad, money doesn't grow on trees, money is the root of all evil. You know, he didn't say money was the root of all evil, he said the love of money, the obsession of money is the root of all evil, and even that I'm not sure is right. But what we do is we come up with these ideas that are often brought to our attention to thwart our inherent desire for something like a new toy, like a tricycle, like a bicycle, like, wow, I really want that. What do you mean you want that? Money doesn't grow on trees, money is bad, you shouldn't have that, you want that, that must be bad. And we take that in, and then we have a dilemma, in that there are deep desires of great joy that call to us, like being free and riding a bicycle and being wild and having that sense of really being alive, but the mere desire of that must mean that I'm a bad person. You throw on top of that original sin, which is that everyone is born with a black mark on their soul, and you bring that into some kind of organized religion, and before you know, you think that you have broken out of that mold and become not religious but spiritual, and a spiritual being now. Except back in the back of our minds, we have this idea that our desire is bad or wrong. And so, I know for me, that led the way to getting involved in an ashram, and that Hindu philosophy very much is about you want to separate spirituality and materialism. They did that because people were starving. They had so many people that they created that rationale to make it okay that you didn't have anything. And now we may find ourselves on the spiritual path translating the old idea that says there's something wrong with money into our newfound spirituality, and the way that you know if that happened is that you are spiritual, but you're broke. Now, if you think that you're spiritual, but you don't have more than enough, then you are simply using this law of attraction and creation to manifest that under the umbrella of, oh, I want to be a good person. I want to be a good kid to my parents. I want to be the good kid that heard all of that stuff about money being bad and materialism being wrong, and translate that into now we're hurting the planet and global warming and starvation, and I want to be a good person, so I will keep myself poor as a statement of my goodness. And what I want you to know is that that's a crock. That is not true. That is not real. For that matter, if you are one with all that is, and you are withholding your good, you become the drain on humanity instead of that which uplifts. I believe that it is our spiritual obligation, has such a bad connotation to it. It's our spiritual calling to learn to manifest more money than we know what to do with. Why? Because if we are not manifesting more money than we know what to do with in this Western culture, in some other cultures it would be, we need to manifest more chickens than we can fit in our chicken coop. We need to manifest more corn than we can have coming out of our acres of planting. Whatever it is that we hold as that idea that we're going to experience life in the fullest, that's what is our task to manifest. Because if we don't, we are withholding that life force of spirit as us, and we are giving in to the old mindset that says it's good to be poor, it's good to struggle, it's good to suffer. And you know, I believe that because of that mindset, there are billions of people suffering and struggling at this very moment. Because we have bought into that idea. They say that the old hunting-gathering societies were the wealthiest societies on earth. Before we got all organized, before we could talk to each other in large numbers, we would hang out, and every few days, the tribe would go out, and they would either slaughter something, or they would gather something, and then they would come back to the village, and they would hang out, because there was lots of food. They would hang out, they would tell stories, they would play with their children, they would make things. On a cultural level, the hunting-gathering tribes were the wealthiest of all time. But now, what we've got is this idea that says we're not supposed to have more than enough. We're not supposed to have waste. I love waste. I love to waste stuff. It drives John crazy sometimes. What are you doing? You air conditioning the neighborhood? Yes, I am air conditioning the neighborhood. And the neighborhood is better off for it. I love to buy food at the farmer's market and just set it on my counter and watch it. I don't need to cook it. I don't need to eat it. I think it's beautiful. And so after a while, you know, it's time to throw it away, and that's okay with me. That's my contribution to art. This is true. Those of you who know me know that this is so. So going against these ideas that for so many people seem so logical, you've got to save this. You got to hold on to that. You got to plan for when things are not going to be okay. You got to put away for a rainy day. You got to not do what you want. For God's sake, don't take that trip, that cruise, whatever it is that you're so wanting to do. It's your adult version of the bicycle, because you might be sorry later. Because you know, things can happen. And then where will you be? Well, if we're manifesting our lives every second of every minute of every day, then so what if things happen? If things happen, they're simply an outpicturing of our consciousness, and we can recreate them into whatever we want, starting off with 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild. We can recreate that experience into something wonderful. So instead of our phrase being, oh no, our phrase is, something wonderful is about to happen. I just got fired. Something wonderful is about to happen. The stock market crashed. Something wonderful is about to happen. My spouse left me. Something wonderful is about to happen. No, those were the other ones, darling, not you. Something wonderful is about to happen. And then what we do, we pull right out of the ethers that something wonderful experience. Whereas if we are holding on, don't let that dollar go. You know, I know that I want that hamburger, veggie burger, turkey burger, whatever it is. I'd love to have it with Swiss cheese, but that's another $1. So I don't know. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I should. You know, I might spend that $1, and then I need that $1 somewhere down the road. Well, my God, you just lost that $1, and you didn't get your cheese. You lost the $1 in consciousness. As soon as you went to the fear, you lost the $1. It was gone just like this. So when we are able to live a life that is rich, full, and overflowing, then we create more rich, full, and overflowing experiences. What happens when we live a life that is rich, full, and overflowing? Ben?
Makes everybody else's life better.
It makes everybody else's life better. How in the world can you support other people and circumstances and causes that you believe in if you don't have anything to support them with? If you're a drain on society, if you're a drain on your friends and your family, and when something like the Heifer Foundation comes and wants you to buy a llama for somebody, and you go, oh no, I can't do that. I lost too many dollars on cheese. I don't have any dollars left, and I didn't eat cheese. Life sucks. That's what we end up with. And when we learn how to have money, we learn how to flow money. Flowing money is critical. You can't hold on to it and keep it. Isn't it counterintuitive? Doesn't it seem like if I hold on to it, I will keep it forever? Because I'm going to hold on to it and hold on to it tight? That's not the way it works. You have to let go of it to keep it. Barbara, that doesn't make any sense. Everybody take a breath. Hold on to it. Want to keep it. There's not any more air. You've got to make this last until tomorrow. Hold on to this air. Don't let it go. No, no, no. Don't let it go. What's going to happen? You're all going to die. Same thing if you hold on to your blood. Don't let the heart beat it. Oh, no, no. Don't let the heart move it. I've got to hold on to it. You hold on to your digestive tract. Same thing. Life is meant to flow. If we have this creek outside, we dammed it up, and it stopped moving, you can breathe. Any of you still holding your breath? If we dammed up that creek, it would become stagnant. Whereas right now, people pull smallmouth bass out of it, it would become stagnant and it would be dead. It would be nasty old stagnant, stinky water. But because it flows, and I've often wondered, where does that water come from? Where does it come from?
The lake. It's Lake Inca.
Where does the water in Lake Inca come from?
Yeah, well, that's as far as I know.
It seems like there's a lot of water going through there. And I know even when it hasn't rained in a long time, there's still a lot of water going through there. So yes, we have Lake Inca, and yes, we have springs, but at some point I just have to throw my hands up and go, there is just an abundance of water for this creek. There's an abundance of water. At some point we have to look at ourselves and say, there is an abundance in this universe, and we can afford to let our breath go. And then what we find is we take another breath in. We can afford to have a piece of cheese. And then we find that even though we had a piece of cheese, we still have money. And we can have another piece of cheese and another piece of cheese, and maybe we'll get the salad that we really wanted or something other than a burger. Maybe we'll go to a different place because there is more than enough. And as we find that there is more than enough, one of the things that I've noticed with people is that they become generous. They become generous. If there's something that someone's selling on the side of the road, they'll go and buy it. If there's a lemonade stand, they'll stop. If there's something that catches their eye that they want to give to, they will give to it because they have more than enough. So there is this mindset that we have to get to. And I cannot impress upon you, I know I've already lost one person in the class, I cannot impress upon you enough the importance for your life and for the consciousness and the well-being of every being on this planet, whether it's a person or an animal or a fish or a bird, that we understand that life is abundant, that we stop bringing through this amazing abundance situations of lack and limitation. We are so powerful that we can be poor in the midst of prosperity. We are so powerful that we can hold back the tides of fortune from coming to us. We are amazingly powerful. And if we shift that just a little bit, then what we find is huge differences in our lives. Money shows up from places we've never thought of. Money seeks us out to find us and shows up in our lives because we've begun to live in an abundant universe. And more than that, the way you feel is different. You wake up in the morning do 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild and move through your days without the angst or the worry. Can I get a Starbucks or should I go to McDonald's? You know, it's the same coffee. Coffee's coffee. McDonald's coffee is coffee, right? But I really want a Starbucks no. That no just sealed your fate. That no just sealed your fate. We sell ourselves down the river for a $4 or $5 cup of coffee, for a piece of cheese, for want of being able to do what we want to do. We sell ourselves down the river, and then we live a life of struggle and suffering, and everybody around us, because by then we've attracted and created those people now. You're not coming to the Center for Spiritual Living anymore, boy, those people are crazy, not going to do it, and now we've surrounded ourselves with people who go, yeah, life's just hard, and it's terrible, and it's not enough, and then we're dead. This is it. These are our choices. We have a choice of two thoughts. Enough, not enough. And we can have everything fall into that. You're either thinking thoughts that say there's enough. Oh my God, I'm late, there's no parking. That's a not enough thought. And at that point, you've got to grab hold of yourself and shift it and say, well, of course there's enough parking. There is my perfect and right parking space. And I have it now because I live in a vibratory and reflective universe. I am manifesting my life, and I know that that which I choose to experience is always in my life. I am the one that's creating my life, and I'm going to do some appreciation on parking spaces. I'm just going to love the white lights, the asphalt, yes, the asphalt, breathe it in, everything's good. The way that they're wide enough for my car, oh look, there's a space. We only have two choices to make. One choice is enough, one choice is not enough. Did anybody have any trouble holding on to the appreciation during the 15 minutes? Did anybody find themselves sidetracking? Michael, anybody else? Sylvia, Margot, that's because we're programmed to go into not enough. I had the best time with a remote control. We had so much fun with the remote control. We're in bed drinking our coffee, and on the bed table is the remote control. We're looking around, well, what are we going to do the 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild on today? Let's do it on a remote control. We had so much fun with that remote control because we could see how all of the changes in our lives were represented in that remote control back from the days when you had to get up and turn the channel on the TV and move the rabbit ears around and, you know, go like this at the same time to get the picture. Maybe some of you remember prior to television, I didn't have a television all my life, that there were radios. I had a little transistor that I could turn on, and then we went to, oh my God, it's a remote control. Do you know there's something, back then I think it was really big, something you could push and it would change the channel for you? And now they're everywhere and they're interchangeable, and there's these little invisible lights that go out into the world and they do things for me so I don't have to do them myself. I feel like I have all of these beings and energy around me just saying, Barbara, what do you want? You want to watch this channel? You want to watch this channel? You want to go to on demand? You want to watch a video? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? All around me, and all I have to do is choose it. I can push up a button. Jen.
And it has the mute button.
I love the mute button. Commercials don't own me. So in this idea that says we are rich and full and overflowing, we generate these energies of happiness and joy. And I think maybe it's possible, but I haven't really had this experience. Not someone who has consciously chosen to be without, but someone who doesn't have what they want to have. I have never experienced happiness and joy with that person. I've talked to a lot of people who don't have what they want to have. We've talked about why do they want to have it? Are they just trying to fulfill some kind of outside desire to fill up an empty void in their life, whatever it is? But there's always this, I want it, I don't get to have it. And so what I've learned is that the best thing that we can do is to learn how to have it. And then sometimes, don't be shocked, we create it and we go, oh, I don't really want this. We've done that with relationships, I know. I really want that, oh, I got it, maybe not so much. Maybe I'll go back to the drawing board. Or the job, I really want that job, it's got that great salary. Oh, I didn't know that I was going to be reflecting my consciousness as co-workers that look like this. I'm gonna go clean up my consciousness and do it again. So as we learn how to manifest in our lives, we become more at a point of choice. We become more at a point of choice. Do we have enough? Do we not have enough? In our 15 minutes, only 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild, sometimes it's hard to stay the course because we are so programmed to look at what's wrong. We get, I don't know if any of you were with me, some of you were, we have a biochemical reaction of adrenaline to the fight or flight response of something going boom. And so we become addicted to the adrenaline inside of our brains and we look for boom. And that's why the news says if it bleeds, it leads. Because people get a hit off of that. Did you hear? Did you hear about the terrible thing that happened? Oh my God. Oh, let me tell you about the terrible, I'm high. Ooh, I like this. Let me tell you about the terrible. We need to learn how to shift that to, did you hear about the fantastic thing that's going on in my life? I had 15 minutes of a love affair with a remote control. I am master of my state. I am feeling so great, and I love you so much, I want to bring you along with me. That's where we're going. We're going to generate the same feeling, the same high, the same hit, only from stuff that lifts us up instead of stuff that stomps us down. So when you have your money, it is so important that you check out your feelings. I just happen to have some money. I love this. I live a life where people just hand me money. Hand me money. This is my money too. This isn't money for the basket. This is my money. When I get money, I have a good feeling. Sometimes people get money and they go, oh, I can't take that. Oh, you shouldn't give that to me. Yes, I should. And yes, you should. You should take it. The only response is, thank you. If you find money on the ground, pick it up. And the response is, thank you. I don't care if it's a penny or $1 million. The response is, thank you. If someone gives you a compliment, the response is, thank you. And if someone asks you for something, the response is, thank you. That wasn't quite as loud on that one. Because the opportunity to give, one of my favorite statements of mine is, if you have an opportunity to be generous, take it. Take it, because it's a gift. To be able to be generous is a gift. And a generous person is a more open person than a person holding on for dear life to that which they can never keep. They can never keep it because they're holding on to it for dear life. They just killed it. Two thoughts. You're harnessing the power of all creation, that which created universe layers, time and space, heavens and earth, all of life. Two thoughts. That's all you get to choose. Is there enough or is there not enough? And people say, well, what about more than enough? You can go to more than enough once you've mastered enough. Go right ahead, but I want to see you standing clear on enough. There's either enough or there's not enough. You either have enough to take another step in your life or you don't. You don't get to see down the road all the time. People say, well, I want to know exactly what's going to happen. You don't get that. You don't get that. What you get to do is you get to move forward in life. And in that moving forward, you set the stage for the next step. Now we want to sit back and hold on and say, I want to have everything all planned out, I want to have guarantees and sign contracts and know exactly where it is before I'm going to move. We don't get that. We get to learn about a thing called trust. And the trust is not that there's an outside power that's going to take care of us. The trust is that we have within ourselves that which we need to manifest our lives. And I love to do it with money. I love to do it with money because you can count money. You can look at money. You know when money has shown up. You know it. And I tell you, if money has not shown up, you have locked the door and barricaded it and sent it away. Because all of life is coming toward you. This law of attraction is that all of life is coming toward you. And it's up to you whether you let it in or not. Some things you don't want to let in. Sometimes these things are reflections of old thought patterns from the past. And we're saying, nope, I'm not that person anymore. You can go right on by and find somebody else. And some things you want to open the door wide to and say, here I am, come on in. Happiness, health, wholeness, love, prosperity, joy. We want to open the door wide to that and have that come into our lives, but we're the ones monitoring the opening and the closing of the door. So people come in and they say, oh, times is hard. I go, no, they're not. Times are only as hard as you make them. Well, there's no jobs in Asheville. That's ridiculous. There are plenty of jobs in Asheville, and there's lots of money in Asheville. It used to be, well, there's no men in Asheville. There's no women in Asheville. That's ridiculous. Everybody is a reflection of us. So we are infinite. There are an infinite number of jobs, opportunity, people in our lives right here in Asheville, and if we're busy shutting the door, putting on locks, nailing 2x4s across it to reinforce it being shut, and then we look at it and go, there's no good in my life, it's simply because we kept the door shut. 2 thoughts. Enough. Not enough. It's pretty simple. I've moved into a simple stage of my teaching. Enough or not enough? What are you putting out? What are you bringing back? What are you creating in your life? Enough or not enough? You don't get to see it all the way to the end. You get to see one step. You get to see one action, one choice. I really want to do this. It's costing money. I have the money. That's what's so amazing to me. I have the money, but I don't want to give it away. I don't want to spend it. I don't want to have this thing, but I really want this thing. I really want this experience. I really want to go and do this, but I don't want to turn loose of the money. Why? Because not enough. And so whereas enough was barreling through the conduits of all of creation towards you, you shut the door in its face. And all you got was not enough. And that's where the parable of the talents, even that which they had, will be taken from them. You lose what you thought you were going to hold on to. On top of everything, you get no cheese. Really, this is what life is about. It's not the big things. It's the little things. It's the little things when you awaken in the morning, what kind of a day are you going to have? When you look at your broken ankle, what are you telling it? Oh, it's going to take as long to heal as the doctor said. No, you are healed now. And the doctor says, wow, I've never seen anybody healed that fast. What are the little choices that you make every day? And how do you feel when you touch money? How do you feel?
Good.
Whether it's pardon me?
Pretty darn good.
Pretty darn good. Good for you. How much of it do you have?
As much as I have.
Okay. Get you touching more of it. And the way that you touch more of it is that you don't wait for the money to show up to feel good. You feel good and money seeks you out. If you have a connection between feeling good and having money, capitalize on it. Capitalize on it, because I guarantee you, you have a connection between not feeling good and not having money. So what are you going to do? You're going to feel good, and that money is going to find you. You You are a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth. There is nothing outside of you. There is only spirit in form as you, and God ain't poor. God ain't broke. God don't struggle and suffer and run out of color for the sunrise. So when we open up to that idea, capitalize on it. Feeling good and having what we want go hand in hand. So don't wait to have what you want to feel good. Feel good. Feel good. And watch how you have what you want. If you don't feel good, if you fall into worry and fear and anxiety and holding your breath and holding on and killing everything around you, you won't have what you want. And I don't care how many people have said it in the past, it's a lie. Not having what you want is not spiritual. You are not here in physical form to be denied the pleasures of physical form. You are here to live life to the fullest. You're here to live life to the fullest. And life is tracking you down with amazing things to reflect the amazing person that you are. So let's go into some analysis. What in the world stops us from having enough? Worth. Self-worth. What is it that is going on inside of us? What is our relationship with ourselves? How do we see ourselves that is less than valuable? How are we equating lack of self-worth with lack of outer worth? Because as we open up to the amazing being that we are, we open up to all of life. So an easy way to check out your self-worth is to check out your worth. How much have you got? What's your asset sheet? What's your balance? What's going on? Balance sheet, asset sheet. Well, my God, I'd have to have an attorney to have one of those. And you know, those attorneys, they're dirty, rotten, money suckers. And there you go. As you value yourself, as you love yourself, as you let yourself off the hook for whatever story you have come up with that you did to keep you from having your bike, i.e. your cruise, your trip, your car, whatever it is that you want to have, as you look at that and shift it, you get more stuff. It's the most amazing thing. When you value yourself, one of the things that you do is you stop making choices that devalue yourself, and because it's all one, your stuff. Meaning you stop doing stupid things. You stop doing things to where you lose all your stuff. Well, I knew I shouldn't have gone into business with that person. Well, why did you? Because there's some part of you that wanted to lose all of your stuff because you didn't think that you deserved it. As if we could say to the ocean, you don't deserve to come in on the tide. How is that possible? It goes against the flow of life. So as we look at our worth, as we look at our value, as we do things like stand naked in front of the mirror and go, you are beautiful, you are awesome, you are magnificent, we have more value in our lives. When we look at money and we love it, we have that connection with it. When we choose thoughts that are about enough instead of thoughts that are about not enough, even if the not enough is just staring us in the face because we've taught it how to get our attention and we've got to go to a remote control. Wait a minute, I can't handle this experience. I'm gonna do 15 minutes of appreciation on a marker. Isn't this amazing? Do you remember when markers, you would get them on the wall and all would be lost? Now we have markers that you can just mark on. And look, this is a magic eraser. I thought it was appropriately named. Mr. Clean thinks it's for cleaning, but it's for my whiteboard. We have erasers we can write on and make go away. And do you know that they even make a paint called an idea paint? And you can paint the walls, and you can write all over. Do you remember when writing on the walls was bad? Now you paint the walls, and you give the kids markers, and you say, go for it, write all over the walls. This is amazing. And even though that circumstance, that fact, that reflection of what used to be may still be in my experience, I have moved into this is amazing. Because I taught myself how to grab for anything that will shift my awareness and change my state. And I will guarantee you that money will seek you out. If you can move into this is amazing, this is incredible, life is blowing me away, money will seek you out. And it will find you. As long as you don't shift into not enough and close the door and nail it shut. And if your door is nailed shut, you're the one who did the nailing. And you're the only one who can open it up. And it may go against everything that your parents told you, everything that society has reinforced in you, everything that you think is true, all of your beliefs. But so what? If you're not going to go against all of that, you're going to stay the same. If you keep thinking what you thought and doing what you did, you're going to get what you got. And nobody in this room is willing to just stay stagnant the rest of their lives. If you stay stagnant, you will die. You will die. You are an evolving principle. You are an expanding light. There is so much within you. And we use money as a way to hide. I said it. We use money as a way to hide. Chicken? Somebody says, oh, I can't do that. I don't have any money. Chicken? Because you are a powerful, magnificent being living in an abundant universe, and if you have managed to dig a hole, climb in, and cover yourself up with dirt, that's just your fear. And if you're not willing to go beyond your fear, you're in the wrong class. You're hanging out with the wrong group, because fear is nothing. Fear is just the old ideas. Beliefs are just thoughts that you keep thinking over and over and over again. I used to do this thing in class about, well, let's look at your hidden beliefs. I don't care what your hidden beliefs are. Stop thinking that. Two choices. Enough, not enough. There's either enough time or there's not enough time. Your choice. Time will expand and contract depending on how you look at it. That is measured scientifically, mathematically. This is not airy-fairy stuff. Breathe. More than enough. Enough, not enough. You go into the store and somebody just walked out with the last thing that you were there for. Man, it was on sale. I came all the way over here for it, and they just took it. People are always taking my stuff. I never get what I want. I didn't get my bike, and now I'm just living a terrible life. Not enough. Stop it. Breathe. I live in an abundant universe, and I'm a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth. That which is mine cannot be taken from me. And that which is not mine, I cannot have. That wasn't mine, or I would have it. So shut up and grow up and look around and see what else there is. Let's do a 15-minute appreciation gone wild at the store. Maybe we're in Trader Joe's. Oh, I waited 10 years for Trader Joe's to come to Asheville. This is fantastic. You know, I love the way they go all around the world and they find these really unique things that are so wonderful. You can only get Myers lemons at Trader Joe's. It's amazing what they have, and I feel so, well, hi. How are you? Finally, I've connected with the love of my life, my new business partner, my new best friend, because I didn't give in to not enough. I moved into enough. And it doesn't matter what you use to take you there. It doesn't matter. That's the important thing. It doesn't matter what you choose to focus your thought on to get you into the enough state of mind. It'll take you where you want to go. The experiences in your life will have to be at a vibrational frequency that is equal to that sense of awe and wonder that you hold within yourself right now. and you will get stuff, and all of a sudden the stuff that you get will be filled with awe and wonder. It'll be, wow! And what are the odds? You know, if I had found that thing, I would have been in my car and out the door, and instead, I had to go through a whole process. I've been learning at the Center for Spiritual Living. This woman named Barbara, she just drives us, makes us do these things called Appreciations Gone Wild. So I was standing there doing Appreciation Gone Wild because I had jumped into the muck and mire of lack and limitation, and I wasn't going to live that. And then I stood there long enough for you to come into my life. Who would have thunk that that would have happened? But you were set up by your greater desire to connect with that person instead of to get that one little thing that was on sale. You don't need it, and you don't need it on sale. Jeez, I'm an abundant universe, abundant being in the universe. Oh, you see the sales? Let me clip this coupon. Have you got this? You're out? No, because then what you get is you have more than enough. You have more than enough money to do what you want to do. You have more than enough time. You have more than enough opportunity. You have more than enough energy. You have more than enough ideas. You have more than enough if you think enough. And if you go to not enough, you'll slam that door shut right in your face, but you slammed it. So you can open it. And you open it with your thoughts, and you open it with your feelings, and you open it with your words. But let's close it right now for a break. Then that energy, that kind of flip-floppy energy affects your money. And so my commitment to you is that we start on time, we end on time, and that I do that for me. I don't do it for you. I encourage you to join me because I want my money to show up when I want my money to show up. However, this is for Devon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. I gotta take care of my editor. So what I want to do is share with you some of the things that I have learned about having money. I love ideas of abundance and trust and feeling good, and I want that to result in money. And I want to have money in my hand. I want to have money in my checkbook. I want to have investments. I want to have portfolios, and in my particular instance, I collect gold and silver. I love that. I have it locked away because it freaks John out when I say that. But I love that. I think it goes back to past lives of being royalty and having the gold room and being able to touch it and play with it and all of that. So I like that. And I don't think that any of this stuff is valid unless it shows up in your hand. If this teaching cannot show up as money in your hand, checks in the mail, deposits into your bank account, stocks and bonds going up instead of going down, that kind of thing, then what good is it? This isn't just about learn how to feel good when your life is falling apart. That's not what this is about. There are some teachings that give you that, and that's not what this is about. This is about learn how to feel good, and your life will come together around that feeling good. So, when we talk about money, it's important for you to look at your relationship with money. Not only to look at your thoughts about it. We were at a prosperity class once, and John took coins and put them in his mouth and watched people freak out because there's this idea that money is dirty. Well, other people's hands have been on that money. They've been on the stairwell, they've been on the car, they've been everywhere that your hands have been. But somehow when it's on money, we get all, money is dirty, you shouldn't put it in your mouth. Get that out of your mouth. You don't want that, that's bad anyway. What is your experience with money, and how do you manage that? One thing that I like to do is to have a lot of money. Well, how did you do that? How do you do that? My subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between this $100 bill and a $1 bill. So if you are in a position where you're feeling like you've created circumstances that you don't have piles of $100 bills, get yourself some $1 bills. Personally, I like to make sure that they're clean. If you need to wash them, go ahead, it won't hurt them. I like to make sure that they're crisp, so if you want to iron them, you can iron your money and really get some nice money. Or you can go to the bank and say, this is a gift, it's a gift for me. You don't have to tell them that. This is a gift and I would like to have nice $1 bills. And they'll go through their dollar bills and they'll give you the best ones. I always do that with my hundreds. I don't want the old hundreds anymore. I want the pretty ones with the holographic bar. And people say,
Yes.
don't you know that somebody's tracking you with that? I live my life out loud. I don't care if people know where I am or where I go. But I like the prettiness of it. So what you can do is get a bunch of money. You want to get a bunch of money. You want to get used to having money. One of the first things that I learned in Science of Mind was to get a $100 bill, and this was back in 1977. My circumstances, for those of you who are not, haven't been around long enough to hear them, is that I was a single mother with a 3-year-old child. I was on welfare, food stamps, and I was giving plasma twice a week. Twice a week, I let them bleed me for $10 a pop, and then if you go every time, you get a $5 bonus at the end of the month. Whee! That's how I was surviving. And I went to my Science of Mind Center where they said, if you do what I tell you to do in 4 years, you can be rich. And I thought, this is great. I will do anything. I've always wanted to be rich. I always thought I was a princess. I always tried to find my rightful home. I've always dreamed of gold and silver stacked up all around me. I'll do anything to be rich. So what did I learn? That I have to stay with enough and never go to not enough. Even if I'm walking home because I don't have 35 cents for the bus and walking home with my 3-year-old child carrying him much of the way, you don't go to not enough. You look at the beautiful flowers growing on the side of the road. You notice how great life is, that here I am, young and strong, and my child is healthy and happy, and I'm walking home. This is an adventure. This is an experience. So I learned that I had to shift from not enough to start creating things in my life. So my teacher said, get yourself a $100 bill and put it in your wallet. What? That was a fortune, a $100 bill. I had to go out and get a second job to make $100. I started mowing lawns. I did have a car. I would put a very inexpensive lawnmower in the back of my car and I would drive around and look for people's yards that were out of control. And then I would go knock on their front door and say, "Want your yard mowed?" Sure. And I did that enough times that it took to get $100, and I put it in my wallet. And what that did for me is it kept me from saying, I don't have the money for that. Now, in my world back in 1977, I didn't want it to be more than $100. My car cost $100. $100 was it for me. That was as big as I could think. So what I did is I put a $100 bill in my wallet, which I carry to this day. Only usually I have more than one. And what that did for me is it made me stop saying, I don't have the money for that piece of cheese. Then I had to look at myself square on and say, well, why aren't you going to buy that piece of cheese? You don't think you're worth a piece of cheese. Your life rises and falls on a piece of cheese, on a frappuccino, on a milkshake. Your life rises and falls on 2 cents on the gallon for gasoline. What are you doing? You are living not enough. And if you want to be rich, which I did, I want to be rich, you must stop doing that. So I would break my $100 bill, and then I was faced with my commitment to a $100 bill. I had to go get more money. I had to go get more money, put my $100 bill back together again. 5 20s didn't do it. Had to be a $100 bill and put it back in my wallet. What did this do? It got me used to having what in my consciousness at that time was a lot of money. And what happened in my life is I started having a lot of money. 5 years after walking into that, then it was Church of Religious Science in Eugene, Oregon, I was making over $100,000 a year. I had a leased Cadillac. I was the associate minister at the Miami Church of Religious Science. I was hot stuff. I was hot stuff. I had lots of money. I spent money freely because I had shifted that consciousness in 5 years. Now, was it just the $100 bill? No, but I took that $100 bill out a lot. I didn't just hide it away. I didn't fold it up into a little origami into a duck or something and pretend it was something else. That was my $100 bill. I would feel it, I would hold it, I would put it in my pocket, I would say, I've got enough, I'm okay, there's enough, I've got $100. And then I created that in my life. The second thing that I learned to do was to tithe. Tithe. Everybody take a deep breath. I love this. I love this because people who tithe are all, yeah, tithing is great. Tithing sets spiritual law in motion. Spiritual law takes what we give out, multiplies it, and gives it back. I get so much money from tithing. And then other people are like, holy crap, is she going to talk about that? That's the most ridiculous thing I know. She just wanted my money, just trying to get my money. No, that fear is not enough. Not only does tithing set spiritual law in motion, multiply it and give it back to you, it brings up all your stuff. Brings up all your fear that says, I'm not going to make it. My God, she went from a piece of cheese to a frappuccino to a tithe. What is she up to? And there are people who would rather be poor than turn loose of that money. When you give it out, it must come back. When you put it out there, it has to come back. If people say, oh, I'm fine, I will give advice and counsel and love and time, but I'm not turning loose of my money. I'm going to hold on to it till I squeeze the very life out of it, and then I'll be left with something dead. When you give 10% of your money, people say, well, why can't I do 3%? Only because you want to. Only because your fear is saying, well, maybe I could swing 10% and not be uncomfortable and not have to look at my fear that life really doesn't support me and I'm really not powerful. But no, if you give into that, then you're going to be left with your fear. What I do, what this center has done since day one, is take 10% off the top and give it away. Give it away. The teaching is that you give where you are spiritually fed. People are spiritually fed in myriad places, this center being one of them, but we're not limited to that. You may be spiritually fed by a teacher, by an author, by somebody that you talk to that really helps you, like says, shut up and grow up. Those are good friends in your life. You may be spiritually fed in many ways. But when you give that out there, you bring up your fear. Oh no, I was just barely holding on. Now you've taken 10% of my money. Oh no, the universe is going to collapse. And what you find out is it doesn't collapse. What you find out is that things work out. It's amazing. Things show up, or it just didn't take all 100% to work your life out. People say math stops when we tithe. 2 and 2 no longer equals 4. 100 minus 10 no longer equals 90, it equals 120. And things happen. Things happen when we set spiritual law in motion. So there are those people who have come to this class and are saying, Barbara, teach me how to have more money, but don't challenge me about my relationship with money. Let me keep holding on to my old ideas about money, but magically have that all shift. And to that I say it's impossible. You have to change what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing in life to get life to change back to you. It amazes me that we can sit there and watch Cheryl Perry share about how she was going to the neurosurgeon, and it was all the cerebral spinal fluid had drained out of her skull, and her brain was plopped down on the top of her spine, and she had migraines 3 or 4 times a day. And she was going to the neurosurgeon to see about cutting her head open to see what in the world was going on. 15 people at this center were knowing she was absolutely perfect, whole, and complete. I remember last time I saw her, I looked at her and I said, "You're fine. You're fine. That is the only reality. You're fine." And so what did they do? They took the second MRI and called up and said, "Oh, it's a spontaneous healing." No surgery. For that matter, your brain's floating again. And all headaches stopped. It's amazing to me that we can be so open to that, and then we talk about money and people go, "Oh no, life has ceased to exist at this point." The support of the universe, my knowing of spirituality as the divine truth of my life has ceased to exist at the point of money. You've got to challenge your feelings about money if you're going to have more money. Some of us turn into 2-year-olds when we talk about money. And that's the amount of money we have. If we believe that there's not enough, we will create not enoughness. And I know of no other way that is faster or clearer or cleaner to create more money in your life than to tithe. 10% off the top, not wait until you see what's left. Whether or not you can swing 2 or 3%, maybe Barbara will think that that's okay. I will not. When you set law in motion, law shows up. When you set law in motion, substance, form shows up. And for me to know that this teaching is real, we have got to be able to have spontaneous healings. Spontaneous healings. And we have got to be able to create money, because not creating money is how we hide. Well, I would change the world, but I don't have any money. I can't even go to lunch, can't even have a piece of cheese. Maybe Bill Gates will do it for me. Maybe Warren Buffett will do it for me. So fascinating to me. 10, 15 years ago, Bill Gates was like the devil incarnate. Do you know Microsoft is taking over the world? And Bill Gates and Microsoft, this mega conglomerate, they're watching every move we make. You have to go to a Windows system. It's got to be a PC. There's nothing else we can do. And now it's, wow, Bill Gates is taking out malaria in Africa. Wow, Bill Gates is feeding people. Wow, Bill Gates is changing the world. Why? Because he can. Because he can. Because he has the money to do it. And people will say, "Oh, well, I don't have enough money to change the whole world." Great, change yours. Change yours. And the people around you will be affected. Change your life, and you will change the world. And how do you do it? You got to be able to have this money thing handled. You've got to be able to put your hands on large amounts of money. You've got to. You cannot be poor and consider yourself an evolved spiritual being. It's not going to happen. You will be a drain on the rest of us. I'm not a drain. I just can't contribute. I just need to borrow a little something to get along. No, that's a drain. If you're not giving, you're taking. So what is it that you need to do? Do you need to get 20 $1 bills and wash them and iron them, or talk to the teller to get pretty ones? Do you need to sleep with them, throw them up in the air, watch them come down on you? What do you need to do to have a sense of connection and good feelings with money? If you have any bad feelings when it comes to money, you know you have work to do. How do you feel when the bill comes in the mail? How do you feel? Is it, pardon me?
Unrelieved.
Unrelieved. What does that mean?
Not relieved.
So you feel tense.
I do.
Great. When you get the bill, have 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild for that bill. You were willing to pay for what you got. You made a deal. You give me electricity, you give me gas, you give me water, you give me a car, you give me a credit card, and I will pay for it. And then you get the bill and it's all, oh crap. They expect me to pay that, ripping me off, man, I'm taking advantage. No! Have a 15 minutes of appreciation gone wild. I love electricity. Think about when you didn't have any. I love indoor plumbing. Boy, the city of Asheville can charge me whatever they want. And I'm not stupid, I know that most of that charge is sewer, not water, but I don't care. Let them charge whatever they want to. I love indoor plumbing. I love electricity. I love gas. I love cars. I love credit cards. I love to do what I want to do, and I have enough to pay for it when the bill comes due. If you can't be happy with your bill, consider turning it off. I got a charter bill. I got a cable TV bill for $225. Oh my God! Turn it off. I can't turn it off. I need my internet. There's a sense of integrity that money flows to. If you're still playing games where you think you can cheat and not be cheated, you're naive. If you think you can take advantage, if you think you can just tell a little white lie, you can just take a little bit from this and not have it be taken from you, you're naive. It's a law. The same way that if you think you can give and not have it given to you, you're naive. And the best way to do that I have learned is to practice it. To practice, practice, practice until you have so much money that you go, wow, this stuff works. I have people call me and they go, this stuff works. Like, well, I've been working with you for 6 years. Of course it works. How do you think we do all of this? We reach out into thin air and we create. We create by setting law in motion through our thoughts, through our feelings, through our words, through our actions. And at some point, you've got to take action. Gather up some money. I don't care how you did it. I was on welfare. I was on food stamps. I was giving plasma twice a week. I was skinny as a rail. I made it work. I made it work. So I don't care what happens. Well, the economy may collapse. I don't care. The global warming may shift the polar ice caps, and the Earth could shift on its axis, and we could all be at oceanfront property. I don't care. I don't care. A tree could fall on the sanctuary. I don't care. I don't care. Because I know that I can create my reality, that I can create money, that I can have what I want to have because I am fearless. I am fearless. It is not beyond me to give away everything that I have because I know there'll be more. That's been a little issue with John and me at times. We were at a Renaissance fair in Houston once, and I saw the falconer. And they talked about the falcons and about the rehab program for the falcons, and I just took all of our money and gave it to the falconer. And John said, how are we going to get home? I'm fearless. And we got home, and we're fine, and now he knows that if I want to, I'll give everything I have away because I know that I live in a never-ending flow of supply, period, end of story. I have been poor, 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 and I survived. I survived, so it doesn't own me anymore. It doesn't hold anything over me anymore. We built this center, we kept running out of money. We survived. We survived. We created. We got very creative in our manifestations. And here we are. Rick and Katya gave us this property. We are here today because of the two of you and because of Clella and Zavada and your image and knowing that we would be here against all odds. We had no money. People say, how'd you build this? You got this really big facility on 6 acres. We didn't have a penny. Not a penny. Oh, you can't do that. Well, we demonstrate instantly. You can have your life be the way you want it, but you have to be willing to open up those doors and let that which you are attracting and creating come into your life. And the only way I know how to do it is to not shut the door. And the only way I know how to not shut the door is to keep myself in alignment with what I want to have. And if it looks too overwhelming, stop looking at it, pick up a remote control or a dry eraser, and start appreciating the wonders of the life we live in. How many people have traveled abroad? Yeah, America's pretty good. Even Tijuana freaks me out. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have so much, and the fact that we can be living this life, which 9 out of 10 people on the planet would hold up as the best life ever. My gosh, we have enough to feed our families. We've got food stacked up in closets that some entire families live in, something that size. That's just to hold our food. We've got places to hold our extra stuff. We can rent places to hold the stuff that we can't fit in our basements and attics. And we can lie to ourselves to the extent that we convince ourselves that we're poor. Instead of shifting that energy, taking action on our behalf. If we want to do something and it's feeling good, that good feeling is worth the spending of the money. Oh my gosh, you went on a cruise. What'd you do? You just laid around and ate all the time? Yes. And the money that was spent on that cruise created so much more. It's not a limited system. You're not taking money out and you have less. You're taking money out and more money pours into it. So if somebody is doing something that you want to support, if you've got a friend that's going into business, if somebody is doing something you want to give them money, trust that gut feeling. If you have an opportunity to be generous, take it, give them the money. Give them the money. It really will be okay. There's more money. The government keeps printing it day after day after day after day. There's lots of money. What, they have $1 billion $100 bills they had to burn because they got the printing off? Oh, plenty of money. If you have something that calls to you, do it. Buy it. Go for it. If you want to go out to dinner with somebody, go. I'm not teaching you just to throw all your money away. I'm teaching you to live. Live. Don't save it for a rainy day because it will rain. I'm not saying don't have assets and don't have things in storage. That's fine. But if you're saving it out of fear, your fear will manifest. And rather than have it grow, it will shrink. Because if you clutch it, you'll lose it. What we do is we learn how to be in the flow. We learn how to trust the creative process. We learn how to use our own power to manifest our lives. And for me, the best way to do it right now is with money. Because you can count it. Because I got people in this class that are saying, that woman is out of her freaking mind. She's crazy. Oh, maybe they left already. When you do it, it shows up. And what I love is that it shows up and you go, oh, wow. How did that happen? That wasn't in my plan. That wasn't according to the rules of the rest of this month. This was outside of my conscious reference point. Stuff happened. There is a law that we are dealing with, that we are setting in motion. We are attracting, we are creating, we are manifesting. Let's manifest money. So what I want you to do this week, I want you to do appreciation gone wild on money. If you have to, do it on your bills. If you can't pay your bills with joy in your heart, then you need to appreciate your bills, but don't cut out the appreciation of money. Money is a good thing. Money is a wonderful means of exchange. Money in many countries is very colorful, different sizes, a very happy kind of a thing. We've got kind of somber money. It's all the same size. It's all that kind of bluish gray, greenish kind of look. Do your appreciation on money and watch money seek you out. Watch money find you. Watch money work into the crack in that door that you just started to open and show up in 1 week. Watch it find you. I know people who are used to giving their money away know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they will get more money. They know that. They don't worry about it because they know they can do that. I had a friend once in, not David, who was that? Obviously not that great of a friend. Called Lloyd Tupper.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah, who was that? It was a long time ago. One of my minister's friends, fresh out of ministerial school, called, was having trouble in his church, called his teacher, Lloyd Tupper, and said, Kevin Busey, they get Kevin Busey and David Bruner. Busey, Bruner, they got B-U's in there. Mixed up. So Kevin Busey called Lloyd Tupper and said, my center's not doing very well, I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm fresh out of ministerial school, what should I do? And Lloyd said, well, are you tithing? Is your center tithing? He said, yes. And Lloyd said, well, good, double it. Kevin went, oh my gosh, what are you going to do, put me out of business? So he took a deep breath, put his big boy pants on, doubled his tithe, and his center is thriving. What's he up to, 5 services now? 4 services.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. What is your block? And what will blow it right out of your way? If you give into it, if you give into your fear will know it can rule you. So don't give in. Don't give in. Give out. Give out into the world. Take 10% of your money and give it to where you are spiritually fed. Don't stop there. If you have an opportunity to give, give. If you have an opportunity to pick up a check, pick it up. If you have an opportunity to buy something that makes your heart sing, your heart singing is the most important thing. Not how much money you died with. Your heart singing is the most important thing. Buy it and let your heart sing. Do appreciation gone wild on money. Do it on $1 bills. Do it on $20 bills. Do it on $100 bills. Do it on a check. Isn't a check an amazing thing? What about a debit card? Isn't that amazing? PayPal. It's not even real anymore. You get into these levels. It's just intention. All you're doing is setting your intention and pushing a button and money goes over the world. If you have an opportunity to give it out, take it. And what you will find is that it comes back to you. And it doesn't come back in tiny amounts. It comes back in clear, big lumps. Don't you want clear, big lumps of money?
Yes.
Then do something different. You cannot afford any more to harbor resentment about the money that goes out from you. I used to write on every check I wrote, this was years ago, so forgive the languaging. It was, Lord, I do give thee thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. Every time I wrote a check, now I just say thank you. But I did that because I was freaking out. My God, I'm going to go pay this electric bill, it's $23, and that means I don't have $23 for groceries. But I would do it, and I would do it with a good attitude, and I would insist, because I was not going to die poor. I was not going to live poor. I was not going to put in 4 decades of being poor. It was not going to happen. Not to this child. I was going to do whatever it took to create the life that I wanted to live, and I have. And I have lived the life I wanted to live for decades. I do what I want to do. John and I are going to Thailand for our 25th wedding anniversary. Because we can. Why not? They have temples and caves there. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. What do you want to do? What's calling to you? What's calling to lift you up? And when are you going to stop having that sense of who somebody else thought you were, that is less than who you are, guide and direct who you can be? That was profound. It's all about inside of you. Do you have the moxie? Do you have the chutzpah? Do you have the courage? Do you have the inner strength to stand up to your own fear and say, I will live the way I want to live? You must have money. I don't buy it. That you can be a powerful expression of the divine and not have enough money to buy a frappuccino. I don't buy it. I think you're dragging all of humanity down, because frankly, my little pet peeve is if we can't do it here in the United States of America, in Asheville, North Carolina, in 2014, then what in the world does the woman in Cambodia or in Africa have a chance of taking care of her 8 kids if we can't establish in consciousness that there is enough? That's your job. Your job is to create lots and lots of money, and to do it with joy in your heart, to have fun, to be generous, to set spiritual law in motion, and to be able to live every day of the rest of your life knowing that money is not an issue, that money is a tool, that money is good, that money is God-informed, and that all is well. That is your homework for the week. Well, we are talking about money. Take out what you're going to give out of the fullness of your life. Give out of the richness of your experience. Billions of people who change places with you in the blink of an eye. With whatever problems you think you have. Billions of people who change places with you in the blink of an eye. So what I know right here and right now is that we are blessed. We are blessed because we are expressions of the divine, and spirit in form as us is amazing. We are points of prosperity. We are expressions of abundance. We use this creative power that we are wisely, and we stay on enough. We always have more than enough. We are always supported by the universe, and we watch in delight as money shows up in our lives, as opportunity shows up in our lives, as amazing, wonderful experiences show up in our lives. And so I claim that for each and every one of us tonight, that right here and right now, we live the blessed life and we know it. We are happy, we are clear, we are powerful, spiritual beings alive and well on planet Earth. And I know that as we come together this night to give this gift to the Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, that which we are goes with our gift to make this a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And so it is. So it is. Hold the energy in the room. We are at the point of creation. Feel all of this energy of money flowing down, around, through us, reflecting back to us in our checkbooks, in our wallets, in our portfolios, in our safe. Feel all of that pouring into our lives, filled full to overflowing right here and right now. We open up the doors of our consciousness wide, and we say yes. We open it up and life shows up. We are master manifestors. We are beings of the divine. We are the hands of God itself. And the work that we do is good work. We are generous. We are abundant. We are healthy and happy and joy-filled. And that joy and that abundance and that health and happiness and wholeness goes all around this world to lift up people that are still finding their way. We reach out the hand and we lift them up. I know that everything in these baskets is blessed, That which we are goes with our gift. It fills up this room. It blesses everyone here. It goes around the world. The world is a better place because we are here. We awaken. We allow that life which we are to flow unencumbered through us. To do that which is ours to do. To be that which we are meant to be. The power in this room is amazing. And right here and right now, I claim it for each and every one of us to know that our lives are amazing. Our lives are incredible. And that energy of oneness somehow, in some way, shows up as clean water, food to eat, shelter, safety. We are one and we lead the way. And I am grateful. And so it is. I love you guys. On Sunday.